Chapter 13, Solutions. Unfortunately, here, solutions does not mean answers to all your problems. I skipped the first section of 13. Don't remember why. Pretty sure I had a good reason. So here's 13.2. Homogeneous mixtures. A solution is a homogeneous mixture. We've talked about homogeneous mixtures, but that was like a long time ago at the beginning of the semester. So a solution is two or more substances that are mixed together, and homogeneous means it's uniform, it's the same throughout. So you stir some sugar into a cup of tea. It becomes a homogeneous mixture. It is a solution. There's a chair in the back corner here, or there's one in that back corner. Solutions are very common. Most of the liquids that we can think of are actually solutions. Shampoo would be a solution, coffee, milk, all kinds of things like that are solutions. The ocean, your blood plasma. We often think of solutions as being solids dissolved in liquids, but it can actually be a mixture of substances in any of the states. So we can have a solution of gases. We're breathing that right now. We call it air. It's mostly oxygen and nitrogen, but there are other gases in there as well. It's uniform. Okay, the oxygen level at the top of the room is the same as the oxygen level at the bottom of the room. Liquid solutions are very common. You can have gas dissolved in liquid. If you have a can of soda, you have a solution of carbon dioxide and water. Liquid and liquid, something like vodka, is a mixture of ethanol and water. Solid dissolved in liquid. Seawater is an example of that. It's salts dissolved in water. We can also have mixtures of two solids. Metal alloys, like brass and steel and pewter, are mixtures of different solids. They're homogeneous mixtures. They are not compounds. You can also have gases dissolved in solids, which is even a little stranger. So there's two components of a solution, the solvent and the solute. And we need to be clear on which is which. The simplest definition is that the solvent is the majority. Whichever one there's more of is the solvent. The solute is what's dissolved in the solvent. What do you think of when you hear the word solvent? Acetone, paint thinner, stuff your dad has out in the garage for stripping furniture or something. Solvents, what do you use those for? To dissolve things, right? The solvent is what causes the other substance to mix up and dissolve. Water is a very common solvent, but other things are also used as solvents. The solute is what you put in the solvent. Now, having said that, if we have a solid liquid solution, we generally consider the liquid to be the solvent, even if there's more of the solid. So the liquid is almost always the solvent. There's so many there's so many solutions where water is the solvent that we have a special term for that, and it's called aqueous, and you've been introduced to that before. Other solvents, not as common. Many of these are nonpolar, or less polar, like acetone or hexane or gasoline, something like that. So this is an important little saying. Like dissolves like. Water does not dissolve everything. We call it the universal solvent, and it dissolves a lot of things, but it doesn't dissolve Crisco, does it? My son, my 12-year-old, I don't know, he's awesome. He got up again this morning and made cookies before school. And cleaned up after himself. I'm like, wow, dude. I shouldn't be eating cookies, but I ate two. They were really good. Chocolate chip. You have to use Crisco or butter when you make cookies, and you get it on your fingers. If you're baking a cake, you have to grease the pan, and you get it on your fingers, right? And it doesn't rinse off with water because water is polar and Crisco is nonpolar. And so they do not mix together well. What like dissolve like helps us to understand is that a polar solvent will dissolve polar solutes. Nonpolar solvents dissolve nonpolar solutes. And this has to do with the type of intermolecular attractions. These are some common polar solvents: water, acetone, methyl alcohol. Nonpolar solvents: hexane, diethyl ether, and toluene. You should know that water is a polar solvent, but the rest of those you don't have to memorize or anything.